twice. Hey.
Get out the insurance cards, get out the copays. The office is open, my friends. Brought to you by drroto.com.
Hey there, everybody, it's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards, get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. In just 1 week, we'll be talking DFS, and I know we can't wait to do that. But right now, my friends Willie Walls and the Swame Odell Blocker, we're going to do an AFC West and NFC West preview. Gentlemen, are you ready?
Yes.
You ready, Doc?
Let's do it. All right, AFC West. Kansas City Chiefs. Are they making another Super Bowl appearance? Are you playing them all over the place? But I will say this. I don't know if you guys read this. They basically said Rashee Rice and Justin Ross will only be in certain packages. Tony plays, Valdez-Scantling plays. Are we worried a little bit about what's going on there, Willie, or do you just want to play everybody?
Oh, hell no, I ain't playing everybody. I'm going to tell you that right now. And I will say this. I'm going to explain how good that Mr. Patrick Mahomes is. How good this guy is. Never seen this before in my life. Number one against the blitz. Number one against no blitz. He's number one. Number one, on early downs. Number one on third down. Number one inside the pocket, outside the pocket. Number one after positive plays, after negative plays. The Chiefs were more efficient against top 10 teams than they were in the regular teams. Listen, that's a bad man. You let go Tyreek Hill, and you become even more efficient. Okay? Now, let me explain this. I will only be Kelsey. I don't draft for tight end early. So I know Kelsey, the baddest man in town, he'll be turning 34. He might drop off just a little bit. We don't know, but he's still a bad man, But for me, I don't take tight ends early, so I won't be having Kelsey. But anybody want to draft Kelsey, he's a great play. I mean, he was ridiculous last year for his stats, having over 12 TDs. 12 TDs, 152 targets, 110 catches. That's ridiculous. And the guy that I have interest in, though, I do have interest in one. It wasn't Rice, Mr. Sky Moore. That's the guy that's going to break out for the Chiefs this year. And hopefully, you can get him in the 9th or 10th round, something like that. And sometimes he might go earlier, depending on how aggressive somebody is. But Sky Moore is the guy that's going to be playing on every down, and he looks good. It hasn't showed a lot in the preseason but the only thing about Mahomes, and that's what scares me about him, man, this dude is a spreader. You get 2 balls, you get 2 balls, you get 3 balls. You get the only target, but you get a touchdown. You follow what I'm saying? So the only consistent people on there, the only consistent person in that receiver position is Mr. Kelsey. Okay, he's just the man. But as a quarterback, Patrick Mahomes is just best quarterback in the game, period. Those stats told you he's the best quarterback in the game.
Swami, I want to get to a question there that Willie brought up. He says he doesn't take tight ends early, and I'm okay with that because I don't either. But let's just talk DFS for a quick sec. Are you in on a Travis Kelce? Will you pay up for tight ends in DFS? Or do you just not pay up whether it's in seasonal or in DFS? Are you like Willie and you'll wait on tight end?
I think as season long, I think Willie's right as far as, you can get your tight end a little bit later. You don't have to necessarily, jump out the window and grab Kelsey in the 2nd or 3rd round. Or somebody.
No, they grabbed him in the 1st.
First is really a stretch, but I think 2nd or 3rd round probably makes more sense than 1st round. And that's only because, again, as much as I like Mr. Kelsey, and Mr. Kelsey is the truth, it's no question. I don't think he's fallen off at this point. He's a couple of years away from anything that might resemble falling off, and I still don't think I would take him that high. Now, as far as, DFS, it's been shown that, that going after the guys who can take down tournaments is probably, your best bet. When you try to punt at tight end, you likely, not going to have the same type of upside that you will with some of the top guys. So,
all right, any Chiefs that you like this year, Swame, before we go on to the next team?
I think it's just Mr. Mahomes at this point. They got too many people involved in the backfield, right? For my taste, right? When Clyde Edwards-Helaire goes from 1 to 3, the only one I feel like you really want to be interested in at this point is McKinnon, and that's because of that out of the backfield kind of stuff. And if he has that breakout game or that game where he gets 10 targets or something like that, then he can go nuts. But everybody else, you just don't know if it's going to be Valdez Scantling, if it's going to be Sky Moore, Herman Moore.
What about Pacheco, guys? Do you like Pacheco?
It's a 3-headed monster. Yeah, he's the main guy, but it's a 3-headed monster. Do we expect for him to get the backfield to himself? I don't. I think he might start the games, and he might still lead the running backs who all might have something like 8 carries to 3 carries and 3 carries. I don't know what that's going to do as far as taking something down. And then you got Tony and then this Rice guy. So you just after Mahomes, if you're talking DFS, you pick the guy you think got their best matchup that week, and you might throw in Mr. Kelsey and you just let it rip. But I just don't know if we know who else is going to kind of be that other person in this offense.
Hey, Doc, I want to say one thing. One person not to play is Tony. That bastard can't stay out the tub. He's a tub baby.
But when he plays, he's really good.
Yeah.
When? But he's really good. Not just good, like really off the charts, twitchy, quick, touchdown good. 2 touchdown good.
And I'm going to say something crazy, Doc. They better figure out this Jones situation.
Yes.
Because a couple
that might be good for Mahomes.
It took some steps forward. I know we didn't get there yet, but they better figure some stuff out. Their division has at least taken a step closer to them.
Well, let me just say this before we move on. I don't know if you guys watch a ton of college football. I do. Rashee Rice is real deal. He was a star at SMU. Maybe he doesn't start out the year as the starting wide receiver. He may finish up the year. Sky Moore, Rashee Rice as your main 2 guys, and Tony, when he's out of the tub, he plays, and when not, he doesn't. So let's see. All right, a team I really like, guys. Really like. Los Angeles Chargers. Kellen Moore leaves Dallas. He becomes the offensive coordinator. Justin Herbert's going to throw the ball deep. You got Keenan Allen, who's 100 years old, but he's still pretty darn good. Mike Williams, Quentin Johnston, Austin Eckler. Willie, talk to me about the Chargers because I'm in, my friend. I'm in.
Yeah, now, there's certain people I'm in on Eckler, of course. Now, listen, this is what I like about what they did. First of all, Lombardi or whoever that rascal was last year, I forgot who the guy was.
Lombardi.
He stunk. I mean, they played mostly in 12 personnel with the 2 tight ends. In this offense, Kelvin Moore, they're going to be playing most of their offense out of 11 personnel. It's going to be 3 receivers on the field. So it's going to be open up, okay? And this year, instead of them going, the little shorter routes, they were throwing a lot of little dinks and dunks. They're going to be going diagonal. And that's why they got that Quentin Johnson to, open things up, because we know Mr. Mike Williams is going to miss some time, because of being injured. And so will Mr. Keenan turning 31 Allen, is going to miss some times. He's going to pull a hamstring, sprain an ankle.
On a lot of teams. Easy.
Easy. Yeah, okay, I understand. But you know the deal. He's a tub man too. So, but the point being is the guy that's going to be that I'm trying to target trying to get him in the 5th, if I can sneak him in the 5th, has been Mr. Herbert. Mr. Herbert will come alive this year. He will break out. I'm predicting 40 to 42 touchdowns this year with this dude this year. I think they're going to be slinging the ball a lot. I love the way he looks. I think he's going to be poised for a huge year. And, I think they got a lot of targets. and I think they're going to be, and that's the thing. That's why I'm not on San Diego's receivers. I know Mike Williams is great. I mean, they're more DFS targets for me instead of, season long, because I don't know what I'm going to get. It's going to be a certain year where you might see two receivers down there. So, oh yeah, he's going to get the ball. But I'm just telling you, Mr. Herbert will be. I love him in season long, and I'm gonna love him in DFS this year because the Chargers are coming, and I'm telling you, it's going to be between the Chargers and Chiefs, and the Chiefs better be ready because I think they got some stuff for it. And what people don't understand in the biggest difference that's going to happen this year in the red zone, Dallas was the number one team in the red zone. Okay, with Kelvin Moore. And that's the difference he's going to make with this offense. They're going to be very diverse, doing different things, using the tight ends, Everett, using different things, to pull these people out. So you're going to see a huge difference in this offense with Kelvin Moore. And the guy from Dallas is an idiot for letting this rascal go anywhere. I got nothing. I digress. Go ahead, Swame. It's all yours.
Kellen Moore didn't even leave the state of Texas when the Chargers offered him a job. Okay? Talk to me about the Chargers. What do you like about them? Can Brandon Staley, who's been a really bad head coach, Swami, made some really bonehead moves, can he get out of the team's way?
I think first, Doc, we got to welcome Tyrone to the call. Tyrone, for folks out there in TV land, is the other side of Willie's neck. I've talked to Willie about this for quite a bit, Doc, as he continues to talk about Justin Herbert as if he's some project. Mr. Herbert is here. Mr. Herbert is the real deal. He's not some guy you're rolling the dice on and trying to figure out what he can do. He's missed the 5,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. He's done that. He's not some guy who's going to have a breakout. It's not the Chargers offense that you're worried about. Can they keep Mr. Bosa, Khalil Mack? Can Asante Samuel Jr.? Can these guys slow down, create some turnovers, and back this offense up is the question. This offense isn't in question. And yes, Mr. Eckler's the real deal. I absolutely love Mr. Johnston. And oh, by the way, Willie, whether you like to think so or not, I know you call it 12 personnel, but they got them big boys out there. They just look like a bunch of big tight ends any doggone way. So guess what? Now they just have a couple of more chances to go downfield, but this offense is not. It has not ever been this project. Oh, we got to wait and see. Oh, the offense isn't very good. They've been good. They've been great. The defense needs to catch up, and this team has to win some games on the other side of the ball, and maybe they'll be able to make a move in the playoffs this year.
Sir, first of all, Herbert has never threw for 5,000 yards. Okay, let's get that straight. Never, ever.
2021, he threw for 5,014, 38 touchdowns, 15 interceptions with 97.7 QB rate. Get it right.
What did he do? What did he do last year?
4,700 yards, 25 touchdowns with a 93.2 quarterback rating. Tyrone, put Willie
with six. No. He was awful last year. Awful.
No, not 4,725 is not awful. Excuse me.
How many touchdowns, sir?
25.
Can I ask a question? How many games did Joey Bosa play last year?
Now that's what matters.
16.
Exactly.
Oh,
that defense.
Oh no, that's the other Bosa.
That defense has to play ball. It don't play
but
this offense.
The point I'm making with Herbert had an awful year last year. It did.
No.
For his standards. He had 25. How many
only because of Lombardi. How many games did Derwin James play last year?
Exactly.
How many games did Asante say? Well, he played a full season. J.C. Jackson, if you remember, they brought him over from the Patriots, was injured. Bosa played 5 games. James always is out 3 or 4 games. The problem is Herbert looked terrible last year, mainly because they were dinking and dunking, like you said. The Lombardi offense was awful. He threw the ball 3 yards. They never threw it down the field. But Brandon Staley is a defensive coordinator by nature. He was the defensive coordinator for the Rams, and the defense has played like crap.
Yes.
And Bosa missed pretty much the whole season. If you don't have Bosa, you got nothing. Nothing.
Well, I like it for DFS. That means they can be throwing the ball. I'm sorry. I don't mean no harm, because I'm gonna have a lot of Herbert. So I love it for DFS.
I agree.
He's a
Look,
great player.
Herbert was good last year, and if you look at the numbers, you'll say they're good. But the numbers were not. He didn't look. If you watch the games, he didn't play as well as the numbers matched up.
Agreed.
Well, but I will say this: he was hurt. He was hurt all last year. I mean, that rib, man. When you got that rib thing you're dealing with, man, then he dealt with the shoulder. So I mean, that's why I say, listen, I'm not saying he's not a great, but what I'm saying is it's a breakout compared to last year. So some people are kind of still leery the way he looked. But listen, I'm all in on Herbert this year. Love him. That's my whole point. Is I think he's going to get over 40 touchdowns this year. I'm looking for that, and I'm looking for him to have his best year ever this year because the chains he is unchained this year.
Okay,
unchained.
All right, let's talk about a team that shocked us from week 1 last year. Shocked us in a way that actually nauseated us. And you know who I'm talking about, the Denver Broncos, who were bad from week 1. Week 1, fellas, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, Russell Wilson was heinous. The whole team, Javonte Williams was hurt by week 2. It just didn't get better. You have Jerry Jeudy, who is hurt, but Sean Payton is there. The dude knows how to coach. Dude knows how to call plays. Swame will Russ cook this year.
Not just no Doc, but hell no. They just don't have enough going on right now. Look at the division, right? They're going to have an uphill battle just to finish above. They get sniff 500. It's just not looking good. He's going to need to come in, have an opportunity to develop his team. Right now, they dealing with injuries. They hadn't, made enough moves yet. They're in trouble. I do like the Marvin Mims. I think he's going to come in and bring some excitement to that offense, especially with him with Jeudy and Sutton is different than now him having to come in and step up. And I just you want to believe in Peyton. You want to believe in Wilson, right? They've done it. We know these guys. We know who they are. We know what they're capable of. But this Denver team right now, it just looks like more of the same. D-O-O-D-O-O.
Willie, are they doo-doo?
But I think they're going to be better this year. I think. I mean, Russ stunk last year. 16 TDs. 16. I mean, got sacked 55 times. But let me say this. This is why I think they're going to be better. They're going to have a scheme this year. Unlike they had the worst that coach stunk. Okay? He stunk. Now, the way he used Javonte Williams last year was abysmal. The play calling was abysmal. I mean, it was all in that first game that you saw when they should have run the ball down. They had some of the dumbest calls.
Javonte had 11 receptions week 1. Do you remember that? He had 11 receptions.
Yeah. Russ likes to now that's this is my other point. DFS wise, I think they're going to be better. I'm telling you, what I mean is I think Javonte Williams, because I'm trying to get him in the 6th round, and Russ does like to dump the ball off. And you talking about if you could get 10 dumps, DFS wise, that means something. I think I'm very interested in Javonte Williams, but remember, it always takes 2 years to fully recover, so that could be a smokescreen. But I think he's worth the shot for where he's going now. I think Mims in week 1 for DFS is a little interesting, Rascal. Real cheap. I think he's just minimum price. So I think he's got talent. So I don't mind that. But for me to play Russ, and remember that defense was one of the best in the first 15 weeks until they just got tired. Russ broke their back, and then the injuries took up, and then they were just off for the last 2 weeks. But that defense is really pretty good.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain is really good. I mean, one of my big questions is I think they can get out of the Russell Wilson contract at the end of this year. And if Sean Payton somewhere in the middle realizes I don't like this guy, he's out. So we'll have to see. And I don't think Payton plays around Swami.
But I don't think Russ will be the worst part, right? I think they've already started to see the injuries. Walls hit it on the head. We still got to see, Williams out of the tub and play more than X number of games. But I do like Surtain and the guy they just brought in that third rounder, Riley Moss, on the other side of Surtain, a cornerback out of Howard. I think he's going to be really good. So the defense, I think, is okay. And I think they will be able to make some plays, but I think they're going to be playing from behind. And I think Russ might even have better numbers, but it's not because they even got a shot at winning this division. So
and they're gonna protect him more. I guarantee you he won't be left out on a hanger like he was last year, because they were just 55 times, sir. Man, he got PTSD. Playing football last year. Playing for them, man. It was just so hard to watch that team play. It's gonna be structured.
Let's talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders, to me, have two guys, maybe three, maybe. You got Josh Jacobs. You got Devontae Adams. And if you can stomach it, Jacoby Myers is there. Really, Hunter Renfrow is falling off the wayside. I mean, yes, you got this Michael Mayer kid. He's a rookie. You got Austin Hooper, but I'm not feeling it. Is the Raiders' defense good enough to keep them in games? Are you guys still drafting Josh Jacobs? Do you like Devontae Adams? Willie, what's your thoughts on the Raiders? Is there any love for you there?
Well, we know, Adams had over 1,500 yards receiving. They had 14 touchdowns, which was amazing. And then we know, man, Jacobs had an amazing year last year, over 1,600 yards rushing, and he was just and to me, he's still an anchor because that offensive line is pretty good. But the thing is Jimmy G. I don't know if Jimmy G's style is going to match what they need. Okay, so understand what I'm talking about. Jimmy G is more of an intermediate type thrower. Okay, he's more of an intermediate type guy. Javonte. Adams got a lot of deep stuff last year. So
Carr throws deep.
Huh? Carr throws deep. That's his thing. He throws the ball deep. So, man, but let me tell you something. One of the worst ones throwing the ball deep is who? Jimmy G. Jimmy G stinks throwing that ball deep. So I don't know if his skill set is right for this offense that's coming in here, for me. So, Jacobs, yes. Listen, if I could get here, see, sometimes people taking Jacobs in the first. Hell no, I ain't taking him in the first round. I would take him in the second round. He's one of those anchor backs because he's going to get the ball. Because you know what? They don't give a damn about Jay. They say, you know what? We're going to run you to the damn ground to the wheels come off because that's how we feel. Because guess what? So next year, because he had 300 and something touches last year, that's a lot. Because a lot of times when you have that many touches, the next year the only one that I see he's not doing is Henry. When Henry Henry is just a machine. But Jacobs is an anchor for me. The one I don't trust as much, even though he's a great player, is Devontae Adams. Because I question Jimmy G. It's not Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams is he could be in the phone booth and get open. You understand what I'm saying? But it's the guy that's delivering the ball to him who I am not feeling because his inaccuracy is a problem. And, I don't know, man. So the Raiders, they talented. Defense is pretty good. Crosby, over 36 quarterback hits. He's a man. The defense is decent, but their defense is still kind of on the assy side. So they're still going to give up points. But can Jimmy G do that? And I like this guy, Bell. No, that's San Francisco. I'm jumping one player.
Oh, yeah, you're on the,
I'm jumping the player here. Excuse me.
Swame, let me give you a guy, though, for the Raiders. His name is Aiden O'Connell. I don't know if you know him. He's this rookie quarterback. If Willie is right that Jimmy G is not great, but I'll say this. Aiden O'Connell's look good in preseason. Look really good. But are we underrating Jimmy G? This is a guy who's been to a Super Bowl. The guy knows how to throw. We never give him credit. Maybe Devontae Adams will be better than people think. Josh Jacobs is back. Maybe we're underrating the Raiders.
I won't say we. And I don't think Willie. I think Willie is probably more in line with us. Tyrone is the guy that's the issue, right? Willie would acknowledge the fact that Jimmy G has thrown for 3,800 yards and over 20 touchdowns twice, right? In the last 4 seasons, he got 3,927 touchdowns. Willie wouldn't look at a guy throwing 4,000 yards with almost 30 touchdowns and say that he's not capable. Willie wouldn't do that. But Tyrone, we can't trust that rascal as far as we can throw him. So let me talk about why I think Tyrone was wrong about this doggone defense. It's not just Max Crosby or Chandler Jones, or even they picked up my former Raven, Marcus Peters. It's not any of that. This team played well. You got to remember, they were able to kind of win some close games, pull out some games. When it counted, they were able to create turnovers. They were able to get stops. That's the kind of team that could make a little bit of noise. And this offense, I think it's going a little under the radar. I think Mr. Myers was a decent pickup. I know you mentioned the fact about Mayer. I know you talked about Hooper, but I don't know if we're giving them enough credit. They even picked up this Trey Tucker, this guy they picked up, I think, the 3rd round. He shot at Cincinnati. He's got a little bit of speed too. So they have some pieces there. They picked up Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech.
He's good.
Yes, sir. They are trying to do a little bit. You know who he remind me of, was this joker, 6'6", 275. He remind me of Bad Things, man. I mean, Bad Things. Y'all better watch out for these Raiders. They're playing a little bit better than what people are giving them credit for. And I think they've taken at least a half a step forward. And everybody hasn't taken a step forward this year, but the Raiders have.
But let me say this, a counterpoint. Listen. A lot of that from Jimmy G stuff was yak yards, okay? And Shanahan is the master of yak, okay? A lot of that were little dumps to Ayuk and Debo. That's what that were. That's what it was. If you look at a lot of Jimmy G stuff, it wasn't stuff going down the field.
But
it was a lot of yak yards.
They got some yak.
I'm just saying. So
on this team.
They
got some yackers.
Yeah, I mean. You know, I mean, it was a lot of was yak yards. I mean, you know, so they have room for back.
That kind of
but San Francisco is the master of yak, and that's what Jimmy G did. I mean, hell,
right?
What?
Shanahan devised plays to make Jimmy G look better than he probably is. But Josh McDaniels is look, he was Tom Brady's offensive coordinator for how many years?
And they are yackers.
Yeah. And let's argue that Derek Carr did not jive well with Josh McDaniels. That didn't work. Jimmy G started his career where? New England. He knows Josh McDaniels. If this doesn't work here, Josh McDaniels gets fired.
I think it's going to work a little bit. I'm telling you. I think so.
All right, let's head out to the NFC West. Oh, wait, before I do that, AFC West. Who's winning? Willie, who's winning?
I'm going with the Chargers.
Swami?
See, Willie showed up. He put Tyrone. He taped him up. Doc, I think right now I'm gonna still give the edge to the champs, but I really like the Chargers.
I will go with the Chiefs because to be the man, you got to beat the man, and the Chargers got to beat the man. All right, let's get to the NFC West. I think there's 2 teams, and then there's 2 teams. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's look at the 2 teams. San Francisco, Brock Purdy, starting quarterback, no doubt whatsoever. You've got McCaffrey, you've got Elijah Mitchell, you got Tyron Davis-Price, you got Jordan Mason, you got Deebo Samuel, Ayuk, Kittle. I can name you a bunch of guys, but they have the best play caller in the NFL. They do. They have the best play caller in the NFL. Swami, are the 49ers ready to go back to make a deep run again this year?
Yeah, they stay the team to beat. And it's not just because because you mentioned like the play calling, but I feel like they get the most out of their guys. They put them in the right situation to be successful. It's like what you do well, we're going to try to get you in those situations, right? And then they found this diamond in the rough, this Brock Purdy guy, who seems like he's just a baller at quarterback. It looks like he loves to play the game. It looks like he's a student of the game. It looks like he works hard. He makes the right reads. He makes the right plays. You just gotta like a story like that, along with everything else that's going on. They still, to me, are one of those teams that can actually win it this year. I like the 49ers a lot.
Willie, you liking them as much as Swami and I are?
Yeah, I like him. I mean, I like. Debo came in the best shape of his life. I mean, he had a lot of pictures with his shirt off. I mean, I wouldn't be sending that to another man, but that's what he did. So hey, that's what people like to do. But that's what you like to do. You like to do that. But anyway, he's in the best shape of his life.
Don't tell, Willie. You know that.
But I say this. The defense. I mean, they got Hargrave from Philly, baller. The defense already balled, number one in everything. So they already had monsters of the midway there anyway. So the defense is top notch. He played. Listen, the 49ers are going to do what they need to do just to win the game. So the people I'll be interested. I mean, McCaffrey. Listen, when they got him, they had more 10. They was third in 10-yard runs after he got to San Francisco. Because McCaffrey's a baller. The key is you got to keep him healthy. But he's a baller. Debo's a baller. Now, the guy that I like better in the pass game this year is Ayuk. I like the value of Ayuk. So if we doing DFS season long for people that's drafting, I like Ayuk in the 6th or 7th round. I think that's a better value than what Debo is. Okay, I think Ayuk got a lot of talent, and they're saying that he is really showing in camp. So, I mean, I absolutely agree with Swami, man. They are loaded for bear offensively and defense. Now that their depth might be a little, they can't be getting injuries that can hurt them because what's going to happen to Kittle. They got the guy in Tutu. What was his name? Tutu or the backup tight end in the third round? Latu, yeah. Because they see the right on the ball.
I think they put him on the IR. Yeah,
he's already
on the IR. He's going to miss the first 4 weeks.
Oh wow.
He had a meniscus injury.
Don't worry.
Well, Kittle will miss the whole season. He's missing the whole season.
Oh Lord. Then it'd be Dwelly then. But Kittle, because the key is, can Kittle stay healthy? Because the way Kittle plays, he's physical. You know what I mean? So, he never plays the whole season. He will miss, 4 or 5 games in the middle of the year. Then he'll come back strong at the end. But for me, I think Kittle, season long, I don't like. I just like to avoid Kittle. He doesn't stay on the field enough for me. But Debo, I'm interested in. Ayuk, I'm definitely interested in. And I don't want Purdy. I don't need him in DFS. You can skip Purdy, but definitely, McCaffrey is definitely worth the pick. McCaffrey. So
I don't know if you guys read. They talked about scaling McCaffrey back just a little bit this year to keep him healthier. So instead of getting maybe 22 touches a game, maybe he's getting 18 touches a game.
Doc, his 22 is better than everybody else.
You ain't gonna listen. It's better than anybody. Listen, you can say what you want to say about McCaffrey. He's a baller, man. If he's healthy, the dude,
big time baller.
The dude,
big time baller.
He's a baller. Just got your people like Larry. Look, like Larry Bird would say, "Listen, sir, I'm about to bust your ass on this street. I'm about to hit this winning shot right here, and ain't nothing you can do about it." And guess what? He'll bust your ass, and if you put a white guy on him, he will be disrespectful. Oh hell no! Are you putting a white guy on me? Oh, you are disrespecting me. I'm gonna torture him for 40 and 35. That's what Bird doing.
I used to love watching those YouTube reels where the guys would talk about Larry Bird, and Larry Bird would tell them the shot he was going to do, and then do it every time. Unreal. All right. Let's talk about the Seattle Seahawks, guys, because I like the Seahawks a lot this year. Geno Smith, very underrated. People didn't appreciate him. He was pretty darn good. Probably won people a lot of money in DFS a couple of weeks, especially that game against Detroit. DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Jackson Smith-Njigba's there. Zach Charbonnet is there. Kenneth Walker, a pretty good defense. Swami, I could make an argument that this could be Do you know how we like the Chargers? Maybe we should be liking the Seahawks that same type of way.
I like the Seahawks a lot. One player that you didn't mention, and I'm sure you track that corner they got in the first round, that Devon Westbrook. He is physical, and I love a corner like that. Walls, he is the kind of guy that can come in and set a tone, create plays. Sometimes what I felt like the Seahawks needed was just a spark in special teams, or a spark sometimes on the defense that helped them out. Because I think Geno played better than what anybody expected last year, and he really started to get something going with Lockett and Metcalf. Now they looking at bringing in this Jackson Smith. They looking at getting Walker for a few more games this year. If they're able to do that, I think the Seahawks can make some noise. You already know what Bobby Wagner and those guys can do on that side of the ball. I think it's just if their offense can kind of sustain, just a couple long drives, really kind of set just the defense up by not having them out there too long. I think they could probably win a couple more games this year and make some noise. I agree, Doc. I really like what they're doing. Probably better for maybe fantasy purposes than I do for a deep playoff run right now. But I think they could develop some momentum, and we could be talking about this team a little different later in the season.
They're very similar to me than the Miami in that they only have a few guys. Right now, I know there's Walker and Charbonnet, but in terms of the receivers, there's 3 guys. Geno throws to 3 dudes. All you have to do is pick the right 2 each week, and you're in business in DFS. Now, maybe I also like Charbonnet a ton. Willie, thoughts on the Seahawks?
See, first of all, you know what they do. They are run like you used to have naughty by nature or whatever you used to call them. They are run by nature team. That's what he wants to do is run and take the guy daggone air out the ball. Okay. So for me, they're going to be better. But remember, Geno in the last 3 or 4 games struggled a little bit. He didn't, he had that quick start, but at the end, it was a little shaky at the end. But he got talent, but they might have so much talent. They won't be worth their value to me. Because this Nigma guy, they got is a baller. Okay. He can play. Okay. But then you're going to split it between Walker and the Charbonnet guy. Let me tell you something. I think by the end of the year, especially if this hamstring rascal Walker gets his hamstring or something, he won't get his job back. The dude could play. Okay. But if they got 2 guys and they doing like that, their value might, to me, they might not be worth their weight in that. They're a better team. I agree with you. But if they play the way they want to play, remember Seattle wasn't a team that we went to DFS wise because they didn't get enough. They didn't get enough looks. I like those teams like Minnesota that gets all the looks. The ball is funneled one way. Shoot, with these 3 people, he could throw it to any of these 3 guys. You know what I mean? And they're going to be running the ball a lot, and they're going to try to take the air out that ball. And then, so that's what Pete Carroll is. He's a defensive guy. He wants to take the air out the ball. And if they can win the game 20 to 12 or 12 to 13, they will take it and just move on to the next week.
All right, let's take a look at the Rams, guys. Cooper Kupp re-injures his hamstring. He has a setback. Matthew Stafford is not connecting with his younger teammates. Cam Akers is about 2 inches away from getting hurt yet again. Why does it feel to me that the Rams are going, they're like the Titanic? They're not the Cardinals. I guess the Cardinals are the Lusitania, but the Rams are a Titanic. Both these teams are going to toilet bowl, Swami.
I don't think they're going into the bowl, Doc. I think they've been in it. I think somebody has hit the thing. You've heard the loud whoosh, and then we watched them spiral down. And right now, they're somewhere in one of these sewer septic systems or something, because it's definitely they didn't make any noise in the draft. It wasn't until this week that I figured out that they haven't had a first round pick in 7 straight drafts. I don't know what they're doing. I do like that Byron Young that they were able to grab, but other than that, they didn't make much noise. They did get an offensive line, but we don't talk about the big guys enough. But that Warren McClendon, I think he was a good one that they picked up in the 5th round. But other than that, it's not even much to talk about. They didn't make too many moves on the offense. You're just hoping they can stay healthy. You're hoping Cup come around. But what
Can I give you one guy, Swame and Willie? Van Jefferson. Is there any love for Van Jefferson, whether in seasonal DFS? Anything?
I like Lionel Jefferson better. Maybe even George Jefferson.
I'm going to disagree. Van Jefferson is going to be a late round pick. I like him in both. I think he's going to be I mean, that's the guy for me because, like I said, Cup. Listen, let me say this: Cup is a baller, but when you start getting to that age and you start getting those injuries, tap up. I'm just not grabbing Cup this year.
Now, Doc, let me defend
but
my
Van Jefferson, I like.
Defend that, Willie. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Okay, Van Jefferson, I like. I think he's interested in a late flyer, and I think that Higbee. I think Higbee, who else they got? You know what I mean?
I give you one name. Let me give you a name. I'm giving the deepest name ever. Puka Nacua from BYU. Dude can ball. You know Puka.
And remember, the last 5 games, Akers ran for the last 6 games. He ran for 512 yards. So if he can stay healthy, but man, come on, man. I agree with Swami. They are
Akers balled out. But let me defend my point about Jefferson. If Mr. Cup isn't available and healthy, if he's not threatening and taking away the coverage, the rest of these guys are going to be in trouble without him. This entire
Agreed.
And that's what I meant by I'm not interested in them if Mr. Cooper isn't out there. If they're not hanging with Mr. Cooper, Doc, the answer is
Look at you with the Jeffersons hanging with. Now, I have a trivia question because I can't think of this one. Lionel Jefferson, his wife's name.
Jenny, right?
Jenny Willis?
Was it Jenny?
It was Willis, right? Willis was the neighbor. He was in love with the neighbor's kid. Was it Jenny?
I think it was Jenny. Yep.
All right. Man, hanging with Mr. Cooper, that was on for like 2 seasons. All right. Last one
That's
here.
That's the kind of shows you like watching.
Yeah. Those quick in and out. All right. Let's talk about speaking quick in and out. I'm going to talk to the Cardinals. Let me just give you a couple of names. James Conner, Marquise Brown, Michael Wilson. Let's talk about Conner first, guys. Do we like good players on doo-doo teams for either seasonal or DFS, Willie?
If like in our draft, I got Connors in the 10th round. I love him there. You know what I mean? Because it'd be,
10th round?
Yes.
Oh my God!
Yes.
What are you playing in a 4-man league?
No, it's a 10-team league. But if you can get him in the 8th round or something like that, I'll take it. I'll trust it. But listen, Adam Schefter said it. They tanking. So after a certain while, listen, I don't trust, man. I don't know how. I would be looking at people like Michael Wilson, just the young bucks, because man, they're gonna shut that thing down, and they might say, you know what, we don't want you to come back because they want that. Who's that quarterback's coming out next year? What's his name?
Caleb Williams.
Yeah. So I don't trust the Cardinals. They traded that defensive guy for a 6th rounder. I said, come on, man, you gave somebody away. I don't trust them.
Swami, it's DFS week 1. All right, Conner probably gets the ball 20 times. Do you want a guy on a bad team like that?
Doc, not just no, but hell no. So this whole thing was also Adam Scheffler and these guys. Sam Adams. I don't need nobody to tell me that this team is tanking or stink or awful. And guess what? Some teams tank, and I don't believe that intentionally tank, because when you're a bad team and you're not playing well, I don't care who the guy is. One guy not going to come in and do nothing except for be one more guy coming in to stink with the rest of you. So you're going to need to play some good ball and bring somebody in into a good situation. And so this whole notion of tanking doesn't make any sense to me. But I talk about the good. They did bring in that Paris Johnson. I think he's going to be good. That tackle they bringing in from State. I think they do have at least some pieces that they like with Brown, Moore, Deutsch, Ertz, right? You also talked about Conner. If they can find a way to play ball, not just tank crap, they can find a way to go out there and compete and try to hold down until they can get that guy just to compete, Doc. I'm not talking about win. We just need them to compete so they can be viable from a fantasy perspective. But until we see them compete, I don't want any part of it. Doc, I tell Willie this all the time. And here's a simple equation. If they're not scoring, what are we talking about? If we don't, this team, if they can't put the ball in the end zone, what are we hoping that he does with those 20 carries?
Let me give you a preview for next week. Let me give you a preview for next week. Play the Washington defense.
Yeah. How many? Hey, sir, I just want to know, how many necks do you have? Because you said one thing, you can play something, and then you said something else.
Yeah.
You're the ultimate side of your neck.
I was talking about the good. We didn't need to all talk about the bad and the ugly, so I tried to take that aside.
Listen, Michael Wilson, I'm done. Night.
I like Michael Wilson. All right. Willie, who's winning the NFC West?
Oh, Niners.
Swami?
Niners by about 4 games.
I'll take the Seattle Seahawks.
Ouch. Okay.
Just for the hell of it. All right. Next week, we are back with DFS. Oh, I'm excited. Willie's excited. I see it in his face. He's counting his money already.
Yes. It's going to be a big year for Swami, myself, and you. We're going to make some money. I mean, the people on Friday Night Lights, you're going to make some money next week. I guarantee we got some stuff for you. Come back. This is where it counts. This is where the money come in. You know, we're going to do like this because we want to make some of this money right here, baby. This is the time. This is the time. This is money time. This is what we like. Baseball can kiss my ass, okay? Football time,
Tell us
baby.
how you really feel, Willie. Tell us how you really feel. All right. For Doc, Willie, and Swami, be well and
take care.
Thanks for stopping by the office. Get your fantasy prescription by subscribing to the channel and checking out drroto.com. And until the next visit, be well and take care.